When you come on Sunday, first of all kids will be welcome to stay in the sanctuary. You don't. These are optional childcare options, so they can go in the sanctuary. They can stay in there for the whole service. But if you do have a child who's baby through 3 years old, we will have a nursery. So it's for babies birth to 3 years old. So you'll just first get in line to check in. On the floor, you'll notice we're trying to make sure we can social distance. So you'll just follow the line. We've added on the special shield, and we still have got some work. We'll be putting some trim on, but we've added this, and so instead of checking in your own child with the iPads, for the time being, a volunteer, they'll check your child in, and so then you'll get your normal check-in labels like normal for your kids. So you'll get these. Also, just so you know, every single volunteer, they'll have to go through a brief health screening before they serve on the hall. And every child, we're gonna ask that every parent fill out just a simple little health screening form for every single child. So it's got just got a couple of simple questions. So we'll ask you to sign this every single week. So if you've got a baby who's birth to 3 years old, you'll get in the line, follow the orange markings, come to the check-in window. A volunteer will get you your check-in labels. You'll fill out this short little sheet for your child. And then probably the biggest difference for nursery is that we're only going to let volunteers and kids on the hall. We just want to limit the number of people who are going onto the children's hall. And so a volunteer will take your child to their room. So you'll actually just come, stand here, and a volunteer will take your child to their room. Now, once again, we'll have nursery for both services, both the 8:45 and the 10:30. So we're going to be using two separate different areas for those nurseries. So the rooms, the toys, the bathrooms for the 8:45 service are totally different than the rooms, the bathrooms, the toys, the resources we'll use for the 10:30. So if you have a child who's 4 years old to 3rd grade, when they come, once again, they'll check in. And once again, we're going to have a volunteer check kids in. So parents, you won't be using the iPads like you normally do. A volunteer will check them in. And once again, every single kid, we're going to ask that you fill out just a simple little questionnaire just about their general health, and you'll sign that. And then you'll get your normal labels like you would for any other Sunday. So they'll be checked in. So then you'll go into service. So right before Pastor Butch's message, like normal, I'll have my children's message, but the kids will stay seated with their parents during the children's message. And then after the children's message, they'll come out here to the atrium, and this is where we'll have Bighouse. Bighouse, that's what we call our children's church, and it's normally for kids 4 years old to 3rd grade. But they'll come out here, and we'll have Bighouse out here in the atrium. So it's a little bit different. We're doing that. Number one, it's just it'll keep kids a little bit closer to their parents. Also, it's just it'll be less common surfaces to clean throughout the week by having it in the atrium. And also, just as long as the weather is nice, we might be even doing some things outside. So just parents, do be aware of that. We probably will be outside a little bit more than we normally would on an average Sunday. So if you have kids who are 4 years old to 3rd grade, when they come in, they'll check in, get their labels, they'll go sit down, and then after the children's message, they'll come out here and we'll have Bighouse. Okay, now let's say you have an older child who's maybe older elementary, 4th or 5th grade. We have made these activity bags. Now, we've always had these worship taking notes for kids, but these activity bags just have a couple extra things in them just to kind of keep your child occupied. And once again, the nursery and Bighouse, our children's church, those are completely optional. If you just want to keep your family together and worship as a family right now, that is totally fine. So on a Sunday, if you don't want your kids to participate in Bighouse and children's church, and you just want them to stay in the sanctuary, you can just grab one of these as you go into the service. So all kids, you're encouraged to fill out this worship note-taking sheet. We just have a couple other things for you in here.